And welcome to the news at 10 live on NTA News 24. I'm Comfort Modu. Here are some of the trending stories. Vice President Kashim Shettima advocates global cooperation in rebuilding inclusive food systems across Africa.
Entrepreneurial capitalism is embedded in the very psyche of the average Nigerian.
Northern stakeholders passed vote of confidence in President Tinubu's administration. Nigerian nurses begin 7-day warning strike. Vice President Kashim Shettima has called on global stakeholders to deepen cooperation with Nigeria in rebuilding sustainable and inclusive food systems across Africa. He made the call during a panel on country perspectives, government-led strategies, and regional frameworks during the UN Food Systems Summit in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. State House correspondent Abdurrahman Jibrila reports.
Nigeria has designed a comprehensive strategy to address food security challenges, which mostly impact vulnerable citizens in conflict-affected regions. Vice President Kashim Shettima said President Tinubu's bold national strategy, including the declaration of a state of emergency on food security and the rollout of systemic reforms, was aimed at transforming agriculture into a resilient, youth-driven, market-based engine of economic growth.
Our agriculture should be market-driven, not about handouts. And the whole mantra is on increase in yield, because entrepreneurial capitalism is embedded in the very psyche of the average Nigerian. But what they are lacking is the wherewithal to place them on Jeffrey Sachs' pace ladder of development, and the whole mantra is on increase in yield.
Meanwhile, on the margins of the summit, Vice President Kashim Shettima held a high-level bilateral meetings with top executives of key global food and development agencies, including the Director General of the Food and Agriculture Organization, President of the International Fund for Agricultural Development, and the Executive Director of the World Food Programme. He sought the organization's partnership in reviving the Lake Chad region, enhancing all-year farming, and supporting the Green Revolution project of the federal government. The organizations pledged continued commitment to work with the Nigerian government in all areas needed, such as school feeding, nutrition, and support for displaced communities. Abraham Jibrila, NTA News.
A two-day interactive session held by Sir Ahmadu Bello Memorial Foundation in Arewa House, Kaduna, has passed a vote of confidence in Tinubu's administration. And the communique equally called for an increase in economic and security reforms to sustain gains recorded within 2 years. Saliu Gwanara has been keeping in touch with the conversation in Kaduna there and reports on the dialogue.
The NSA. The Director General of the Sir Ahmadu Bello Memorial Foundation read the communique.
In conclusion, the summit concluded that Northern Nigeria acknowledges and commends the administration's high performance in fulfilling its electoral promises in many areas, and also appreciates subsisting challenges. Participants call for moral commitment to transparency, fairness, and equity as elements that would foster national unity and sustenance of our democracy. It further calls for continued collaboration among government, citizens, and all stakeholders.
Earlier, the second day was equally engaging as questions were raised by participants and answers provided by the federal government delegation on matters of governance, particularly on infrastructure.
Kaduna State, 52.7 kilometers. Plateau, 88.4 kilometers. Bauchi, 229 kilometers.
Identified schools by the most deplorable states, 3 in each senatorial district, with the intention of turning them around.
So if you concentrate in the northern Nigeria, the three zones, northeast, northwest, and north central, you have a number of projects, apart from these legacy projects we are talking about.
The intention of the government then was to build 1,000 houses in each of these to the areas affected by banditry.
41% of those in the capital city has been completed, and many out of them were being commissioned.
Governance flourishes when it is inclusive. No president, no governor, no minister thrives alone.
Participants demand more of such engagements.
Interfacing with the representatives of northern Nigeria on this platform has been an eye-opener to most of us.
And we truly understand the activities, the benefits, and then the advantage of the Asiwaju, who is equally the Jagaban Bargu government. A lot has been done, but they don't talk much.
This is a giant stride taken by the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He's trying to close the gap.
Congratulations to all the people who get, you can imagine, military men seated, Air Force are seated, ministers are seated, and they're not even tired. That is what we want. That is sincerity, and that is commitment.
With the increase in knowledge about the activities of government so far, the event demonstrates the power of effective communication as an inevitable tool in propagating government policies. In Kaduna, Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara, NTA News.
The Federal Ministry of Aviation and Aerospace Development has kicked against a bill seeking to relocate the Nigerian Safety Investigation Bureau from the ministry to be domiciled under the presidency. The ministry's position was given at a public hearing by the Joint House Committees on Aviation and Special Duties on the bill to amend the NSIB Act. National Assembly correspondent Mitai Rekpe reports on these and other engagements in Parliament.
The NSIB Act 2022 transitions the Accident Investigation Bureau from investigating air accidents to a multimodal transportation investigation body now known as the Nigerian Safety Investigation Bureau. The thrust of the NSIB Amendment Bill is to move the operations of the Bureau to the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, but the public hearing triggers diverse reactions.
By putting them under the Ministry of Aviation, is limiting their ability to work. Dislocating the Bureau from the Aviation Ministry will severely erode this synergy, disrupt coordination, and create bureaucratic gaps that could delay responses to critical safety events. The transfer of the NSIB to the presidency aligns with global best practices. It is also an opportunity to strengthen the Bureau's independence.
Once it is situated within the executive arm of government, you cannot get the independence we're talking about. It is only the law that can make it really stand as an independent body.
The Joint Committee's decision on the bill will be guided by expert opinions.
At another public hearing by the House Committee on Federal Polytechnics and Higher Technical Education, lawmakers supported the establishment of vocational institutions to engage the teeming youth population.
That will empower technicians and mid-level personnel. We will act as effective catalysts for rapid industrialization and development.
To ensure that our younger ones acquire skills which they can use either within or outside the country.
The proposed institutions are the Federal College of Entrepreneurship and Skills Acquisition, Zaki Biam, Benue State, the National Institute for Technical and Vocational Education, Bogoro, Bauchi State, and the Federal Vocational and Skills Acquisition College, Ilaro, Ogun State. From the National Assembly, Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
The governor of Kogi State, Ahmed Usman Ododo, has commended President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for showing unparalleled commitment towards the completion of the Abuja-Lokoja Road reconstruction, saying his action has demonstrated his unwavering determination to fix the nation's infrastructure deficit. The governor, who made this known while inspecting a section of the road in Kotonkarfi in Kogi State, said the president represents a coalition of excellence. This is our own coalition. This is what our president is doing, and we are grateful to him. This is development, he said.
This was a road a minister in this country adjudged not to be economically viable. And today, thank God, Mr. President saw it, and the minister is in with him that this road is economically viable as far as this country is concerned, because this is the only road that connects the north and south. This is one of the coalition. Yes, sir. That's what we're talking about.
The governor also commended the Works Minister David Umahi for the quality of job on the road. The National Association of Nigerian Nurses and Midwives in the Federal Health Institution sector has commenced a 7-day nationwide warning strike. Hamad Jabani reports that the Nigerian Medical Association has also issued a 21-day ultimatum to the federal government after its emergency delegates meeting.
The National Association of Nigerian Nurses and Midwives had on July 14, 2025, issued a 15-day ultimatum to the federal government demanding immediate intervention to prevent a total shutdown of nationwide of healthcare services. The strike will affect 74 federal hospitals and primary healthcare centers. The industrial action, which has paralyzed services in federal medical centers, teaching hospitals, and specialist hospitals, is in protest over issues bordering on poor remuneration, staff shortages, unpaid allowances, and unsafe working conditions. The union is asking for readdress on some of the long-standing demands, which include the upward review of shift allowance, uniform allowance adjustment, and separate salary structure for nurses, increased call duty allowance, mass employment of nurses, and the establishment of a nursing department in the Federal Ministry of Health, among others.
Peradventure, if nothing happens within these 7 days, of course, we are going to come back to work and then re-strategize, continue negotiation. If peradventure still negotiations does not yield anything positive, our national body will now issue a 21 days ultimatum. And if nothing is done within the 21 days, it's going to be indefinite strike.
Some relatives of patients speak on how the strike is affecting medical care.
So if peradventure there is need an emergency for a nurse to give an injection to a patient and the nurse is not there, you start scouting for a doctor that is not readily available.
I was supposed to go to theater today to do my hand, but because of the strike, they said, no, we can't go.
The experience is not good. We're calling on the government to try and do something about it. This is National Hospital.
In a related development, the Nigerian Medical Association, after its emergency delegate meeting, issued a 21 notice of total and indefinite strike in line with the relevant labor laws, effective from 27 July 2025, if government failed to comprehensively address its demands. The body is optimistic of a favorable response from the federal government to avert the impending industrial disharmony in the health sector. Hamad Jabani, NTA News.
This is the news at 10 on NTA News 24. More reports ahead.
The Baffy Furniture Shopping Festival is here. From June 15th to August 15th, enjoy 20%, 30%, up to 50% off on most products. Explore 2025 exclusive collections at discounted prices, plus wedding packages with a free TV stand gift. Plus, free delivery and installation in Abuja, Lagos, Kano, and Enugu. Customize your favorite sets in your preferred color and fabric, from kid-friendly options to our luxurious smart beds. Don't miss out. Shop now at Baffy Furniture.
A heavy downpour lasting nearly 4 hours on Tuesday left large parts of Maiduguri and surrounding areas submerged, posing serious threats to lives and property. Umar Jimbarima reports on some of the affected areas.
The rainfall, which residents described as one of the heaviest in recent time, flooded neighborhoods including Polu, Damboa Road, Millionaire Quarters, Gomari, Bulunkutu, Abuja Sheraton, Shuari, Bakassi, 1000 Housing Estate, 777, and parts of Old GRA. Residents are still reeling from the impact as many homes remained waterlogged, attributing it to inadequate drainage infrastructure that worsened the situation, leaving flood waters no clear path to flow. The people are now passionately appealing to relevant authorities to step up interventions and find lasting solutions to the recurring flooding.
The water couldn't let us to achieve our goals, meaning we can't drive our children, we can't leave them anyhow because there's potholes and etc. So we need government to come our aid to come and put drainage and put a landmark and take proper look to this area.
Experts linked the increased frequency and intensity of floods in Maiduguri to climate change, which they say has triggered more unpredictable and extreme weather patterns amidst rapid urbanization and population growth, leading to unregulated development, pushing low-income families into flood-prone zones. Security operatives, along with officials from the National Emergency Management Agency NEMA and the State Emergency Management Agency SEMA, have been actively involved in rescue operations and providing emergency support to affected households.
This heavy downpour that happened to fall today has made so many persons to vacate from their homes. That's why we have the police which are deployed on strategic locations to ensure that whenever these properties are left at home, they should feel safe that the police are there to guide over them.
Residents living along riverbanks and floodplains have been advised to relocate to safer grounds with evacuation routes clearly outlined by authorities. While the government continues its efforts, residents are also urged to support these initiatives by following flood control regulations, avoiding indiscriminate dumping of waste, and cooperating with emergency response guidelines. In Maiduguri, Omar Jimbarima, NTA News.
The acting executive chairman of the Federal Character Commission, Kayode Oladele, has pledged the Commission's commitment to working closely with the Police Service Commission to ensure adherence to federal character principles in the upcoming Nigerian Police Force recruitment. Oladele made the assurance during a strategic meeting with the chairman of the Police Service Commission, DIG Hashimu Arugungu, retired, on preparations for the recruitment exercise. In his remarks, the DIG Arugungu emphasized the importance of equitable representation, appealing for the FCC's collaboration to guarantee that all states and demographic groups are fairly represented in the recruitment process.
A Nigerian police force that truly reflects the diversity of our great country is not only a constitutional mandate, but a practical strategy to ensuring peace, security, and social harmony. When communities see themselves represented in the security agencies that serve them, trust is built, cooperation is enhanced.
In line with the international law, where we drive our own human recruitment and promotions based on vacancy, if that is something. So you can't come and tell me you are taking application under the table, you keep. You want to inform your brothers and sisters. You need to inform the whole general of Nigeria. It's corruption.
Civil Defense, Correctional, Fire Service and Immigration Services Board has raised alarm over the activities of fraudsters posing as recruitment agents for the ongoing enlistment into Nigerians for parliamentary services. In a statement by Secretary to the board, Major General Abdul Malik Jibril, retired, the board warns that no payment is required at any stage of the application process. It stressed that the only authorized portal for recruitment exercise is https://recruitment.cdcfib.gov.ng and urge applicants to disregard any other platform. Security agencies, the statement adds, have been alerted to apprehend individuals and syndicates involved in the scam, and the board advises all prospective candidates to stay vigilant and avoid falling prey to fraudulent schemes. The National Identity Management Commission has announced the successful migration of all telecommunications operators to its upgraded National Identification Number Verification Platform. A statement from the Commission explains that the migration now enables telecos to offer uninterrupted NIN verification services to their subscribers. The statement adds that the new platform developed by NIMSI enhances data protection and gives Nigerians greater control over their personal information. It also provides seamless identity verification and easier access to digital services. NIMSI therefore urges Nigerians to direct complaints related to new SIM registration, SIM swaps, SIM migration, and welcome back SIM to their telecom providers for prompt resolution. The Commission says its verification and authentication platforms remain active and accessible to all users. Civil society organizations are urging the new Director General of the National Institute of Sports, Philip Shaibu, to reposition the institute as a hub for sports marketing and job creation for Nigerian youths. As Joseph Hussein reports that the call was made during a stakeholder engagement in Abuja, where key areas for reform were outlined.
National Institute for Sports, as a research and training hub, is tasked with grooming top-level coaches, sport managers, and scientists, while also advancing sports research in Nigeria. With a wealth of untapped talents across the country, stakeholders say it's time to strengthen capacity for sport development across all levels.
The Institute is the apex body when it comes to infrastructural development, because without the capacity of personnel, there's no how you can change the narrative in sport industry. It's 10-year roadmap for sport. I've gone through it, and I have absolute confidence that that roadmap, if rightly implemented, it will change the entire face of sport in the face of sport industry in Nigeria.
Recommending staging of specific games, competitions, festival fiestas, and so on and so forth.
Shaibu's background as a former athlete, grassroots sport advocate, and seasoned administrator gives stakeholders hope that he is well positioned to lead reforms at the institute.
Himself is a sports person, so you are not going to be inventing the wheel for him. He already has a clear idea where he's going to.
There were law establishing the place, but nobody actually have designed a plan that will guide the entire system to be able to put NIS to its core mandate. So sustainability lies in the private sector, and that is why the issue of marketing is key to what we are going to be doing.
Barely weeks in office, the new DG has already hit the ground running, setting up a 32-man advisory committee of experts tasked with reshaping Nigeria's sports future. In Abuja, Joseph Hussein, NTA News.
A delegation of the Tribune National Solidarity Movement has reassured of its support for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's renewed hope agenda, urging Nigerians to rally behind the administration's policy reforms aimed at repositioning the country for sustainable development. During a courtesy visit to the management of the Nigerian Television Authority, the leader of the delegation, Mohammed Akwashiki, emphasized that the current administration is making bold, intentional moves to address long-standing structural challenges facing the nation. The group noted that the Renewed Hope agenda is anchored on critical pillars including economic revitalization, infrastructure, development, and institutional accountability, according to the delegation. These policy directions are already taking shape through targeted reforms in areas such as exchange rate unification.
That is desirous, that is courageous, that is determined, that is focused, highly focused. That's why they are fighting him. We discover this. That's why we say we must mobilize support for the president. We are not campaigning for him, as I said. We are not campaigning. But what we are doing, we are mobilizing Nigerian people to support him.
We also appreciate you for recognizing our organization as one of the best, that even at the remote area, NTA is accessible. We appreciate you for that. And we also want to make an appeal, especially for these organizations that are very close to those that are in corridor of power, to also excel some of the ideas.
That concludes the news at 10 on NTA News 24. I'm Comfort Amodu. News updates comes up at 11.